Driving traffic and real business results from Instagram is hard. Let's just be honest about that, particularly if you're in the B2B space and you can't take advantage of selling products directly on the platform. We all know we can't use links in Instagram posts, and that the sheer number of taps it takes to get through to a link in bio creates so much friction. Only a fraction of fans do it. There must be a better way to see success with Instagram, right? Well, that's what we're covering in today's episode of the MarTech Show.
The past is gone. Now is the future.
This is the MarTech Show, exploring today's marketing technology solutions. Social media, artificial intelligence, augmented reality.
Now is the future.
Content, SEO, email, analytics, listening, advertising, and more. I'm your host, Mike Allton, and I'm joined by agency owner and technology futurist Robin Dimond. Each episode explores the latest developments in marketing technology and shares new solutions and innovative approaches that you need to know about to grow your business today. And now, the rest of today's episodes. Welcome back to the MarTech Show, where Robin and I get to dish on what's shiny and new in the MarTech space, then do a deep dive into a specific platform or solution that can help you and your business today. Hey, Robin, how are you doing?
Fantastic, Mike. Super excited.
So excited. In fact, we have some exciting news, some breaking news. Our podcast dropped today. Isn't that cool?
It's beyond exciting. Super. I don't know. It feels surreal right now. Is that okay to say? It's surreal. It dropped. We're here. We're live.
Yeah. We put out a podcast that's new for a lot of people. This is my, fourth or fifth podcast. So it's becoming a little bit routine, thankfully, because there's a lot of moving pieces to a podcast. But if you're interested in listening to the MarTech Show, our first 4 episodes dropped today. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere you listen to great podcasts, you'll be able to find them there. And some big news in true MarTech this week is Canva, the Australian design tool, has acquired Affinity. Doubtless you're familiar with Canva, but Affinity might be new to you. Formerly known as Serif, Affinity is a creative tools company based in the UK. Bloomberg reported that the deal was worth several £100 million. That's approximately $380 million US. Affinity's award-winning suite of professional design software has become a sought-after solution, they say, for everything from photo editing to complex graphic and vector design, and will place Canva in square competition with the likes of Adobe Express. Certainly seems like an exciting development for Canva users and social media managers who need the speed and ease of use at Canva, but might be clamoring for the option of more advanced editing features. What do you think, Robin?
I think it's amazing. And what they're doing, I will say it's been a little bit rough over the past couple of days/weeks with Canva. And it was because all this was happening behind the scenes. So we're excited to see this, but I think it's showing the progression of these tools. And right on time, as we keep talking about AI coming out, now they're stepping into Adobe and they're really going to give them a run for their money. And what the part that we like the most about this, or my team likes the most, is it starts in the beginning stages of your content creation. And now you're going all the way advanced. And I think that's what they were missing before. So it's giving so many options to social media managers now to be able to create and to accelerate their own training. So super exciting. I mean, behind the business, Canva is a genius. If you haven't seen it, nobody wanted them. She pitched to over 100 other companies and no one wanted to invest in her. And if I had pitched to even 8, I would probably give up, but 100 companies. And now you're talking about some huge acquisition that happened.
Melanie's story, Melanie Perkins, her founder story is fantastic. What a great example of perseverance. And you're right. The drawback to Canva has historically been, if you want to create a nice graphic that has artwork or a photograph in it, you either have to have that and you import it into Canva, or you can use their stock imagery, but you can't do a lot with the image itself. Over the past couple of years, they've added, background remover and some other basic editing, but this portends to have a lot more features and functionality. So that's awesome. Now, talking about creating better and better graphics, that's the kind of topic that agencies and social media pros might discuss with regard to Instagram and how to create a more attractive and engaging presence there. But of course, just because Instagram channel is getting engagement doesn't mean it's driving business results. For that, you need more advanced strategies and tools, because Instagram, by its very nature, doesn't make that easy. What are those strategies and tools? How do we need to reframe how we're approaching Instagram? That's exactly what Jeff Dwoskin is going to talk to us about. Believe it or not, Jeff was a stand-up comedian, but before he got into comedy, he founded his own web design agency. Years later, he returned to the tech world, first by founding hashtag Roundup that contributed to thousands of top USA trends on Twitter, and then most recently by founding Stampede Social, a company aimed at helping creators drive traffic to their content. Hey, Jeff, welcome to the show. No, put the water down. You're here in the show now.
Wow, did I time that horrible. Hey, it's so great to be here. What's up, Mike and Robin? How are you?
That was horrible timing. We're so sorry. Caught you
I was like,
right in the middle.
I sat, I was patient. I listened to that amazing intro where your voice kind of changes a little, Mike. It's like
Ramp it
AI,
up. Come
this,
on.
that. Yeah, it's very compelling. I love it. Yeah, I love Canva too, by the way. Let me throw my hat in for that one. It's a great product. Let's talk Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's start off by talking about Stampede Social. Let's let folks know, particularly social media managers, what that is, how that can help them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Stampede Social, I'm a creator. A comedian, I'm a podcaster. So we developed Stampede Social. We like to say it's built by creators for creators. It's also for influencers, speakers, podcasts, agencies. Basically, we built a platform to unlock the power of Instagram to help you save time, increasing revenue, driving listens, whatever it might be, and influence and increasing your brand influence. So it kind of takes like some of the greatest hits of all these great things you need to do as a social media manager, puts them into one tool like AI automation, giveaways, you know, AI comment analysis, competitor analysis, puts it all into one amazing thing. And then under the covers, they all kind of work together to give you amazing data that you can then use to action against.
I think that's awesome. I mean, I have a question. What are social media managers missing today? Like with Instagram and all the changes, what are social media managers missing?
I think
What's the problem?
at its core, I think what social media managers are missing is an easy way to execute all the campaigns and get the information from Instagram that they want, right? It's easy to start a giveaway. It's easy to put in motion a user generated content campaign. What's not easy is to manage and measure it. And so based on a lot of experiences that I had just as a comedian and working for a huge brand and their marketing team and working with the agencies to do exactly these things, where every time it was like a stressful thing. We're going to do a giveaway. Oh, we got to figure out this vendor, this vendor, this vendor. So we created something that just makes it easy for a social media manager to do anything creatively they want to do. And the piece that's important is they can manage and measure it with ease, thus opening up the creative outlet to do things more often that perhaps you would avoid in the past because it was just a pain to fully execute it.
I can relate to that so hard. We used to try to do giveaways, I mean, like years and years and years ago, and we honestly gave up because it was just too challenging, at least on the Instagram platform, to do anything like that. We didn't have a team of VAs that were there to, count comments or do the other manual things that people would do to pull those off successfully. So that sounds really interesting. I know we want to dig into that, but what data specifically can we get from some of these individual posts? Most of us are probably familiar with the Insights tab in our Instagram app, and we can see views and engagement, that sort of thing. What else can we get?
That's a great question. So basically, when you do anything with Stampede Social, the other rich data that you can get, and what we focus on, basically, just to be clear, is like the comments. We're opening up all the comments that come in from posts and reels and live events and making those actionable for you. And so that's how we do some of the cool things that we do. But what that means is that over time, you start to really understand how your top fans are engaging with you on Instagram at that level. So I know, Mike has requested X pieces of great content or webinar registrations or commented this many times on my posts. Robin is doing this, she comments all the time. She's always right there on top of everything. You can kind of then use that information to really kind of dive in. But you also can then, as you start to analyze stuff, you can get actual attribution back down for any links that are created that are sent via DM. You can understand which posts are converting those content requests the most. You can see which posts and call to actions are generating the most fervor. And yeah. And so, and then you can track clicks as well. And like how many clicks are going to the content that you're trying to get your folks to. So, I mean, of course, the table stakes is like the post statistics, right? So, but it's kind of combining all of these things. The idea is if you know that you have access to all the comments that come in for a post or a reel, you can then start to shift the way you think about using Instagram to collect this information. A lot of people think, oh, I have a listening tool, right? So that listening tool listens for things that happen to happen. But with knowing that you can get to the actual data itself, then what you do is you create conversations that you want to create dialogue with your customers and your fans that you really want to learn more about. When you know these things, then you can start catering to your fan base more, create content that resonates with them. And that's how you kind of slowly grow your follower count and your, and all the great KPIs that we're trying to grow, because we're able to kind of hone and focus on what's really important to the people we're there to serve.
That's music to every social media's person's ears right now. And I think that's the thing about Stampede that's great and that we all love, is the fact that they can go in and start personalizing it. And it's that personalization. So each person feels like a VIP, that they're being talked to. And that's, I mean, in the world of today of like, someone said membership versus VIP. I'm like, I want to be a VIP. And if I go on there and I'm the first to like you, always, I want that brand to recognize that. And I want to see more content like that. And I'm not the only one out there. And that's what Stampede does. And then it resounds with people, because now all of a sudden, all those people are liking it too. They're seeing more content and more like-minded people are coming to your client. That's amazing.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I know. I was just thinking, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
No, you go, Robin, go.
Well, because you talked about giveaways, and like, let's go back to like the heyday when giveaways were super easy and super fun. And you put something out there, and then all of a sudden you grow 1,000 new followers. Gone are those days. Gone. So how does this help with giveaways? Like, how is Stampede helping with giveaways?
Well, Stampede simplifies the entire process. I think it's important to understand there's two types of giveaways that you can do on Instagram. There's one where you're driving folks to a registration form, right? And that part would involve using DM automation and getting them to fill out a registration form. That's when your goal is getting PII, mailing list, emails, right? And maybe some other cool information you want to learn about your fans. So that's one type of sweepstakes or giveaway that you can do on Instagram. But the other one, also popular, is the post level giveaway, right? And we all seen them. We're like, comment below this or tag a friend, and I'll be honest, most of them ask too much. Tag 50 friends and share this on your story, and then do a video of you dancing and doing this. And and so it's like, relax. But they're very, very useful, and they're great tools because they increase engagement either way you go, right? It does help with audience growth because you can create a buzz and people share this naturally. They want, to everyone to kind of be in on it. It helps. It's a great way to partner with people where you can do that. If they have a product you can give away, it's a great way to create a partner, and it's great content, right? It's great content creation idea too, to have a giveaway. And so, it's like, oh, every couple of weeks we can do a giveaway, it kind of fills in that blank for you, but then it's the data that you're collecting underneath, whether it be the first party or zero party data from a registration form. So you can build up your mailing list, that ever popular, still king email mailing list. And, and then, but to answer your question, where Stampede Social helps is, one, it helps with the automations to get that link to a registration form. So you can get really frictionlessly and seamlessly to that registration form without going to link in bio. So this is bypassing link in bio, create engagement at the post level or during a live event or reel, and get that right into their DM, so that you create that intimate connection, and the likelihood of click-throughs will go up because it's in their DM. They know where it is. And then the post level side, because we're collecting all the comments that come in, it's effortlessly making it easy to later pick a winner because we have a winner selection tool built in. Also, you can dedupe
Mhm.
it. I want everyone, Mike can only enter twice, even though he commented 10 times, well, we'll stop him there with just 2. And then if we ask them to maybe, use a fire emoji, to enter or whatever, whatever it might be. And it can dedupe it, randomize it 5 times, and then gives you basically a top down winners list, just like that. So it's always kind of working. The cool thing about Stampede Social from a social media manager point of view is all these things are just humming along. You just have to choose to create the post that taps into it because it's always running. It's always working for you. You don't have to really do anything crazy to set it up. It's always there.
Just kind of connect
Yeah.
the dots for some of our users. They might be going into Agorapulse and scheduling the content out, and Stampede Social is going to be monitoring those posts for comments. And let's say it's a giveaway where the directions are tag a friend, and so it's watching for comments that tag somebody else, and then it sends them a direct message with the link to enter. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's a great point. We're the other side of the coin. Agorapulse absolutely is the scheduler. We're not a scheduler. God bless you for doing that.
Yes,
And
sir.
then, but what we like to think of ourselves as is a way to be able to push the creativity level of what you're scheduling through Agorapulse, because you're no longer limited by certain things that you might have been limited by before. Once that goes live and it's live on Instagram, that's where Stampede Social starts to add that value and help work for you.
Yeah, definitely doing things that Agorapulse doesn't do. Robin, you had a comment to add?
No, I was just thinking about how this is taking all the weight off of a social media because you did say, hey, they asked for too many things. And I think that owners, business owners, the executives, clients, all are like, do all of these things and have the 19 steps in between Agorapulse and Stampede. You can't be all the things. I can't go and look for every person who didn't put an emoji on. I would be there for 3 days not working on my real job. So I love that it like cuts it out. And I think that's something that we really have to talk about, saving time, but also helping us. And then with Agorapulse scheduling it, I'm not going in there and making sure it's all up to go. It's all set up for you.
Exactly. They're like, it's like they go so well together. Like
They do, right?
Awesome. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Jeff Dwoskin about Instagram data and all the wealth available to businesses and social media managers on that platform. To help you leverage Instagram and every other social network, here's a quick message from Agorapulse.
All right, I'm Daryl. I'm a CMO. I'm with Agorapulse. You're a marketer. I'm a marketer. Let's be blunt for a second. Let's take the gloves off and let's just put it out there. Our success is tied directly to the tech we use. Does it work? Is it affordable? Can the vendor support us? Can I be with this vendor long term because of their product direction? All right, so where do you go for those answers when you're making a selection, especially on social media? Well, everybody these days, they go to G2. So here's what you need to know. As it comes to ease of use, Agorapulse is a 9.1. When it comes to support, Agorapulse is a 9.3. When it comes to product direction, Agorapulse is a 9.2. Did you know that Sprout Social and Hootsuite are in the 7s and 8s? They don't even break 9. Best of all, we are the most affordable solution by far. If you want an enterprise-grade solution that the entire industry recognizes as the best in class, check out agorapulse.com.
All right, Jeff, I got to ask, we're talking about collecting what sounds like very individualized pieces of data, right? So like in our normal social media reports, we see aggregate. We see, 10 people liked this post, 20 people commented, 100 people saw it, whatever that is. It sounds like we're talking about collecting, who specifically. Robin liked every single post or whatever the case might be. Are we violating Instagram's terms of service? I know it's a sensitive question. Maybe you can't answer that on air, but are we getting into privacy concerns at this point, or is all this above board?
Of course, it's above board. I wouldn't have come on a national podcast and not be above board. Stampede Social, just to put you at ease, is built on Meta Tech, Meta APIs. We just actually went through their entire data review. So I am passed, of course. So everything is built under the scrutiny of Meta. It's not a loose system by any means to be able to do. But I will also say there's no data privacy concerns. The information that we give is pretty much what you can see publicly, just the ad handle, the comment that was made, when it was made, what post it was made to. It's really just those pieces that are put together for you. With Cambridge Analytica and all that went down, even if nobody gets to the information deeper than that, it's just not and shouldn't be allowed. And so there isn't anything you get of the personal nature. I wouldn't even know it was Robin if her at handle was super cool person, at super cool person. I would just know it was at super cool person. Mental note. Pick something I can say fast in the future. So no, it's all above board. There's nothing to worry about. It's all basically things you can see, but like when you look at the app itself, it's impossible to, like, once there's like a lot of comments, it's hard to kind of keep track and all that kind of stuff. So, when it comes to the analysis and being able to dive into it, that's the database we're working off of. And that's how we know who your top fans are. We don't collect likes. We kind of very specifically say the engagement that you should be going for is comments. That's the way to really, that's the level of engagement to really get people to engage. Likes are awesome. Don't get me wrong. We all live for the like, but comments is where we want to kind of go with. And, that's where, through call to actions and letting people know this is a dialogue, not a monologue. And we want you to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I jokingly asked the question, little tongue in cheek there, but for good reason, because as you mentioned, Cambridge Analytica, people have been rightly concerned about privacy. And to your point, there's nothing being recorded in Stampede Social that I couldn't do myself with pen and paper if I wanted to take that time. But you're saving me that valuable step and helping me analyze it so much better.
Yes, exactly right. We always say, if you've got a good pad of paper and pen, you don't need us.
Yeah, but that's exhausting, and that's how we used to do it before you guys came around. We literally, like, we're all laughing, but like every social media who's like person is out there is like, I'm still doing it. They're watching this and like, I'm still doing it that way. This is the solution for you, because we've all been there where we had to take an Excel sheet and drop things in here. And you're right. I love that you said it's a dialogue, not a monologue, because if you're just talking at somebody in any relationship, not just through social, this is going to go nowhere fast. They're not really engaged. And so to hear, like, and likes are easy. They're just flying through it. People always say like, oh, I leave tons of content. I'm like, who's reading that when they're flying through it and not even engaging? So really great points about that, Jeff. Okay. I think that my question, and I know this is going to go a little bit off, but like, how do agencies, or like, how can subject matter experts or agencies show their value by leveraging Stampede?
Well, I think they can show their value by kind of rethinking their approach, knowing that they can get to and easily analyze the data, both at a fan level and what they're saying, because that's really the piece that's missing, right? And to have that right at your fingertips, real time, and be able to analyze that and then convert that, to think of it as, it's like live A/B testing. It's like, you can immediately know, okay, these posts are resonating, these posts aren't, these conversations are triggering these things, or these posts are not triggering anything. So you can look for themes in comments. There's a lot of kind of deepness that you can kind of get to as a social media manager that you couldn't otherwise do. So it's kind of being able to dive a little deeper than just the kind of, just the KPIs that we're all used to and that look great in a report. But now we can go a little deeper, because we can get to know our fans and our customers. And if we know that going in, then we can build posts and go live and reels that are going to capture that. And then we, as a team, whatever that means for that particular team, can then use that in a very effective way, create real great actionable things against that. And that's where they can like really shine. It's no longer about just getting the most likes. It's about, well, we generated this many comments and we got this many insights from that, because we're not waiting for them just to randomly talk about it. There's other things too, sometimes bad things happen to brands, right? And so, and social is where they go to comment. So to be able to have those immediately coming in and have access to it is in itself, not something I always talk about, but you just kind of made me think of it, like, from a PR point of view, public relations person, to be able to see that and pull that out and then know how prevalent it is without waiting for another company to, like one of the large, your listening people to do it. You can have a real pulse on it. as it's happening and be able to create responses to that much faster.
That's really powerful. You're talking about being able to do things that are super creative and interesting and effective, maybe things that we couldn't do before because you're building in so much more efficiencies into this entire process. It kind of sounds like there needs to be a time-saving KPI added to the mix. Is that real? Is that a real thing?
I think it is. We all feel it, right? You can't prove the negative. You can't prove something that didn't happen or like didn't physically happen, right? But you can say, oh, we did send out 1,000 DMs. How long would that have taken me? That's something tangible you can figure out, right? And that's why you don't do it, because the number would, it would sink you and you'd quit, right? But there's also the ability to know, like, you have to have your own baselines, right? If in the past it took me X time to coordinate with outside vendors to blah, 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 to do this giveaway. And then and now you can just do it where it's just there. And all I'm really doing is plugging in, posting via Agorapulse, the post with the call to action that this is a giveaway, telling them how to enter, and it just works. And I don't have to worry about it, or doing a user generated content campaign, right? I remember doing that. We did one of those during the pandemic where I was working at the time. And it was like, you can put it in motion. We never knew how many posts, because, when you click on a hashtag, it just kind of, and then, if someone's else using that hashtag, there's just no way to get to it. And now, this is how many unique people are engaged. This is how many people are engaged. I can, I have a database of all the entries. I can now actually make that an effective giveaway, all these things. So it's just, yes, I think most people, after like just using a Stampede for a short period of time, recognize that, oh, it's like adding an entire member to the team, so it's that additive.
I love this. I mean, just literally this week, my CEO was talking to me about doing some kind of contest on social media where we invited people to, sign up for an Agorapulse account, use it to prove their ROI, and share a screenshot of those reports to social and tag us. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that's a great idea. How am I actually going to execute that? Because of the complication with giveaways. But now obviously I could do it on Instagram with Stampede Social, just like that.
Just like that.
Love it. Love it. Robin, you have any more questions for Jeff?
Robin, do you have any questions for me?
Me too. Actually, I have one more thing. If you can share, if you can't share, that's okay too. Because we talked a little bit about like all the stuff that you just went through Meta, but what is on your roadmap this next year? Like, what should we be excited about that's coming out?
You should be excited about, our goal is really to further even keep pushing it to be like a virtual assistant of sorts. So pushing the reports. We just created a really cool dashboard, and we understand that like the visuals and kind of doing the analysis for you is helpful to a lot of people, not just the raw data. Some people love raw data that they can drop in one of those little cube things. I don't know what that means. And it does all the analysis for you. But we're working on stuff where it kind of helps you understand on the fly. Here's an analysis of the comments that came in from the last post. And, these are your top fans. Here's great ways to engage with them and list them out. Oh, here's Robin. This would be a fun thing to say to her. This is what she normally talks to you about, those kind of things. Agorapulse integration. I just made that up, but maybe, who knows? No,
We're just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there. Why not? Right. We're here.
Right.
And I guess you can, but also multi-platform. Right now, we're heavily focused on Instagram. We chose Instagram. Well, I'll be honest. We originally built it on Twitter. And because of the way the APIs changed when Elon took over, it just became cost prohibitive to do it on Twitter. So we ended up moving to Instagram, mostly because Instagram, we saw the need. It kind of just like a light coming out, and we saw like Instagram is like, as one of the top platforms, had these holes in it. Like the things that everyone loves to do on Instagram, there were so many little pieces that made those things difficult. And we've talked a lot about those today. And so that's where we kind of went all in on Instagram. And now that we're kind of all in on Instagram, we're starting to explore other platforms as well. So likely YouTube would be the next one. All the features aren't the same because every platform is different and unique in its own way. Like YouTube doesn't have a DM, right? So, but there's different things that you can do where you can analyze and understand your fan base. So that'll likely be the common theme as we expand to other platforms.
Very cool. In fact, that was actually a question from Deb Mitchell, who's our community manager. She's watching the live audience. She was asking what other platforms can you use. So for now, it's just Instagram. Down the road, perhaps some other ones. And I'll say at AgoraPulse, we just released an open API for our reporting. So an integration could actually be something we can talk about there, Jeff. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Oh, we're going to do it. What better way than live just to get you on that? But I will say,
PS product team, I hope you're listening.
I know. I was like,
well, to answer a different answer to Deb's question is when you do set up a campaign in Stampede, like an automated campaign, we do give you a tracking link. And like that link you could then use on other platforms. And so you can put on Twitter or TikTok link in bio or email, LinkedIn, wherever you want. That redirects through us. So where it helps the social media manager is, every time you create a post, every time you post via AgoraPulse, it's its own instance, right? So every tweet is its own stats. And so by putting the link that will redirect through us, you can go in and say, oh, we generated X through automation and another 1,000 clicks via the different social media platforms or email or what have you.
Very cool. That's so interesting. Jeff, you've been amazing. We're going to have you back later this year to talk about what else is new and do some more deeper dives into how we can use Stampede Social and actually take advantage of the engagement that we're getting. But for now, for folks who want to learn more about you, about Stampede Social, where can they go?
Stampede.social is our web address. You can check us out there. That's probably the best way. And you can get to any of the other links from there. You can find me on where, I don't know, we're on Twitter. It's weird to say go to Twitter, but I'm on Twitter at Big Mocker, but it's my personal, or at Big Mocker is my personal on Instagram as well. If you want to just tap me, or Jeff at stampede.social. You can send me an email. I'm very attentive and would love to answer any questions or just chat. Love chatting. We can continue the conversation. But stampede.social, I think, would be the primary place to find all the goodness.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. That's all we've got for today, friends. Don't forget to join the after show discussion in the Social Pulse community on Facebook, where you can learn more about today's guests, continue the conversation with other attendees. Any final thoughts, Robin?
No, had a great time. Thank you so much, Jeff, for all the wisdom. I think there's things that we need to jump and start doing, leveraging a little bit better.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Remember, find us on Apple. Leave us a review for the new podcast. We'd love to know what you think. Thank you for listening to another episode of the MarTech Show, hosted by Robin Dimond and Mike Allton, powered by AgoraPulse, the #1 rated social media management solution, which you can learn more about at agorapulse.com. If you want to make sure you're part of our audience during live weekly broadcasts, take a look at our calendar at agorapulse.com/calendar, or click the subscribe button in your email once you register for any of these events. Is there a particular tool or topic you'd like to see us talk about? Or perhaps you think your solution should be featured? Email me at mike@agorapulse.com.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Robbie Samuels hosts the On the Schmooze podcast. Robbie, tell listeners what to expect from the show.
Since 2015, I've interviewed entrepreneurs who overcame challenges to achieve success in their field or industry. Tune in to On the Schmooze to listen as I ask deep questions to elicit untold stories about leadership and networking.
And where can people subscribe?
Find the show at ontheschmooze.com or on marketingpodcast.net, or just search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard them. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.